I am Scary Sis.
And I am Scary Bro.
And we are
the Scary Sibs.
Hello, mortals, and welcome to Scary Sibs.
Just a little friendly advice for you all. If you're a pair of lonely spirits who just want a few friends to hang out with, and you resort to raising the dead in your cemetery with a resurrection spell, make sure you actually say it right.
Are you referring to your little blunder this morning?
Obviously.
Yes, I think if the last line of a spell is departed ones of every kind, return to this plane, body and mind, you should actually say, and mind. Or else, you get, well, a mob of zombies beating down the door.
I didn't see the end mind because there was a coffee stain on the page in the spellbook. Who is the only one of us who drinks coffee again, sister?
I like reading spellbooks as a hobby. Sue me.
Every page, give me that. Every page that involves getting rid of your sibling permanently is dog-eared. Want to explain something, sister?
Anyway, while we're on the subject of zombies, let's take a moment and appreciate just how impactful this particular subgenre of horror has been on our culture. Zombies have invaded every form of media, from movies to TV shows to video games. It seems we just can't get enough of these walking corpses.
Zombie films can be some of the most tense and terrifying of all horror films, and we would like to take the time to discuss 10 of our favorites, while we find a way to rectify my little mistake.
So, without further ado, here are the top 10 zombie films.
Number 10, Night of the Living Dead. Okay, right off the bat, I know some viewers may want to join the zombies in beating down our doors over this placement. Look, Night of the Living Dead is a great film. It's just up against some stiff competition here, all of which it helped build the framework for. In this George Romero classic, a man named Ben takes shelter in a farmhouse with a handful of other survivors when corpses mysteriously begin to rise and hunt people down. As tensions rise between the group, they learn that they must not only try to survive the living dead, but also the living as well.
The acting in this film was great, even with a few characters, particularly the patriarch of the farmhouse Ben shelters in, being unlikable. By today's standards, some pieces of this film feel overused and underwhelming, like the helpless damsel in distress and slow, low-threat zombies that anyone could outrun. But this film set the stage for so many other zombie movies. This is an important film and will always be held as a standard for the zombie subgenre, but it had its flaws, such as the pacing, which felt rushed in some scenes and dragging in others. Also, the zombies themselves weren't all that scary since they were simply too slow-moving to be a creditable threat.
This is an unquestionably important film that laid the groundwork for the zombie subgenre going forward. It is in no ways bad, but like I said before, the films that inspired it simply took the concept and ran with it.
Number 9, World War Z. Ex-UN investigator Jerry and his family escaped to a military ship amid the zombie apocalypse. In exchange for the safety of his family, Jerry must get back in the field and assist in helping to discover a way for civilization to continue. Specifically, he's to find a cure for the zombie plague, or at the very least, a vaccine. He travels all across the globe, battling through danger, until he discovers the surprising truth of the zombie's weakness.
While this movie had its scary moments, this film is more action-oriented than horror. The zombie encounters are usually framed as massive set-piece sequences where our hero must fight or run from massive amounts of zombies at once. It's tense, sure, but not exactly scary. Also, I feel like the PG-13 rating hurt this one a little, as zombie films are known for gory kills and horrifyingly decayed zombie designs, but without an R rating, we don't get that here. This is a good film, and I enjoyed it for what it was, but sadly, anyone coming here expecting a typical zombie movie will be sorely disappointed.
The ending here was also wrapped up a bit too nicely for me personally. Specifically, the zombie's weakness is so commonplace that it's kind of unrealistic that it took this long for someone to figure it out. Still, the ride to get there is suspenseful and intriguing, with great effects and amazing acting.
Number 8, Dawn of the Dead. This sequel to Night of the Living Dead picks up a fair bit of time after the outbreak, as we see a pair of SWAT officers and members of a news crew take refuge inside of a shopping mall to escape the ravenous zombies outside. With the mall barricaded and sealed off, the group lives pretty well, with everything they could ever need or want. However, their fortifications won't hold forever, especially when the wild card that is other living humans decides to interfere.
I like how this film felt more comprehensive, and we see a bigger picture of the world being overtaken by zombies, besides the isolated house we saw in Night of the Living Dead. The zombies are still really only scary due to the amount of them, since they're still slow and uncoordinated, and thus they wouldn't be a huge threat solo. Still, the setting of the mall is creative and varied, the characters more likable this time around, and the development to the world created in this film is fantastic.
I definitely see why this is a lot of people's favorite of the Dead trilogy, since it expands on the world exponentially compared to the first, and gives us a cast of very likable characters to root for. The zombies still don't do it for me, as they still just look like regular people in blue paint, but the next movie in the series will correct that, thankfully.
Number 7, Shaun of the Dead. This horror comedy follows roommates Shaun and Ed, who are your run-of-the-mill, down-on-their-luck men in their 30s who seem stuck in a dull cycle and going nowhere. These guys find themselves in the middle of a sudden zombie apocalypse and must overcome their slovenly existence to save themselves and their loved ones.
When I think of my favorite horror comedies, this is usually one film that comes to mind. The humor here is very clever and aids a lot in helping us root for the characters, who are all very funny in their own way. At the same time, this movie can be genuinely scary at times, as the zombies are a credible threat and the kills are very graphic. The movie also doesn't shy away from some of the more emotional, heartfelt moments, especially towards the end. This is a movie that can make you laugh, wince, and cry in pretty much equal measure.
This one is a fun film for a casual watch, one I have seen many times and never mind coming back to because I know it's going to be entertaining and funny throughout.
Number 6, Train to Busan. In this Korean film, a man boards a train with his daughter to visit her mother in Busan. However, when a sick passenger boards carrying the zombie plague, all hell breaks loose. Now, with half the train overrun and all of South Korea in chaos, the ever-dwindling group of survivors struggle to find anywhere they can call safe.
This was a deep and heartbreaking film about society, fatherhood, and sacrifice, as well as about zombies themselves. The suspense and action were non-stop and kept you on the edge of your seat throughout the entire movie. The zombies in this film are menacing, although that somewhat was diminished when we discover that they cannot see in the dark, which feels like an easily exploitable weakness. But still, this film was a scary, emotional roller coaster, and I recommend this to anyone who hasn't seen it, as it is truly a unique and meaningful film.
I'll go ahead and say it. Fast zombies are easily scarier than slow zombies, and this movie helps make that case. Not only are the zombies in this film numerous, they're also relentless and almost inescapable. And unlike many other films, you don't always know which characters are going to make it to the end, making this a frightening and suspenseful watch. Are they still out there? Geez, they've been at it all night.
I don't know. Maybe the zombie moans and the banging against the walls tells you whether or not they're still out there.
Let me see that spellbook. Something here about punishing the undead or something.
There's nothing in there. I already told you that. Stop flipping pages. I have things marked and notes throughout, brother.
What is this? How to turn a ghost into a... Are you trying to turn me into a frog?
Well, I might have already tried, but it didn't work.
Is that where the wart on my knee came from? Sister!
Anyway, number 5? Number 5, Army of the Dead. A zombie infestation overruns Las Vegas, and it is mostly contained to that city, prompting the government to bomb Vegas and wipe out the zombies. A man named Scott is approached with an offer from a wealthy businessman who wants Scott and his crew to break in and get money out of a secret vault inside a specific resort. Things start to go downhill when Scott's estranged daughter tags along with goals of her own. Inside, the crew encounters surprisingly intelligent zombies that quickly give them a run for their money, and mistrust within the group grows, all while they have a ticking clock and predators after them, making this a suspenseful ride through and through.
This is the type of film that I honestly feel would have worked better as a show than a movie, and considering it's a Netflix original, that leaves me wondering why they didn't go that route. The reason I say this is that this movie introduces so many different elements, but doesn't feel like it has enough time to expand on them. The relationships between the characters and their distinct personalities aren't given enough time to grow before they're killed off. The subplot with the businessman the crew's working for goes absolutely nowhere. The zombies, which may be the coolest out of all of these movies, barely receive any focus despite being intelligent and almost having their own culture. Hell, there's even a zombie tiger which we barely see at all. Plus, the ending of this film sort of drops the insane fun of the rest of the film, and instead just gets really dour and depressing. Bit of a jarring tonal shift.
This film is not perfect by any means, but I would dare to say that this is the most underrated film on our list, as I barely ever hear it mentioned, yet it is very unique and creative. Something that I think more people would enjoy if they knew about it. If you haven't given this one a watch, you should.
Number 4, Zombieland. In this horror comedy, a nerd nicknamed Columbus joins up with redneck Tallahassee and sisters Wichita and Little Rock as they journey across a zombie-infested America to Pacific Playland, a theme park that is supposedly zombie-free. As they go, the group learns to trust each other and how to survive in this new world, which is a good thing because that safe haven they had in mind may not be so safe after all.
While this film is comedy, the zombies themselves are actually pretty scary, and some scenes are decently graphic. This film works so well because the 4 main characters have vastly different personalities, and their banter is top-notch in a world that is well developed. This is a light-hearted film that is perfect for horror lovers looking for a break from the dark and depressing tone the zombie subgenre usually offers, while still keeping some of those creepy elements we all love. Of course, the four main actors are well known and add to the appeal, and we can't forget a Bill Murray cameo.
Much like Shaun of the Dead, this movie takes a genuinely scary zombie apocalypse and puts a bunch of funny characters smack dab in the middle of it, and it works great. Though we clearly prefer this one because of its faster pace, more off-the-wall jokes, and heightened action.
Number 3, Day of the Dead. The same apocalyptic world we followed in Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead returns here as we see the world in ruin and humanity mostly gone. This film takes place primarily in an underground bunker where some survivors are living. Most of these survivors are scientists or soldiers, and while the scientists are determined to try and save humanity and develop a cure, the soldiers are more interested in their own self-preservation, which causes tensions to rise and may threaten the safety of the bunker itself.
I know this is a bit of a hot take, but this is mine and sister's personal favorite in the Of the Dead trilogy. For one, the zombies actually look like rotting corpses here and not just people in blue makeup. Also, the human characters I feel are the best, with the conflict between the scientists and soldiers providing some genuine tension and investment even when the zombies aren't on screen. Plus, Captain Rhodes is a memorable, effective, and hateable villain that you really want to see get eaten. Out of the three, this is definitely the one I most want to watch again.
Yes, while the entire series is masterful and classic, we are still standing on the hill that Day of the Dead is the best of the three. It just has more elements that make it an enjoyable film to return to.
Number 2, Wreck. In this Spanish found footage movie, the crew of a late-night TV show are following a team of firefighters on their nightly shift. When a call comes in about an old woman trapped in her apartment, the crew rushes to help. What they find inside is the old woman infected with a virus that turns her into a rabid killer. To make matters worse, the authorities have sealed off the apartment, trapping everyone inside. Now, with no way out and this vicious plague spreading fast, the crew must try and find some means of escape before it's too late.
The zombies here are terrifying, and the vibes are downright eerie. The idea of being forcibly isolated in a dangerous place with little explanation while safety is so close is a horrible thought. This is a fantastic zombie film. Until it becomes not a zombie film? Let me explain. But warning of spoiling the ending. So, in the end, it is revealed that the zombie plague was actually a result of a demonic possession, not a virus. And my question is why? Why did we have to go down this road? It was a perfectly executed zombie film and did not need to go down the supernatural route one bit. This came out of left field and honestly makes very little sense.
This movie stands as one of the scariest entries in both the found footage and zombie subgenres. And even though, like Sister said, the ending loses the plot a bit, that doesn't take away from the sheer terror this movie brings. Also, whether virus-infected zombie or demon-possessed human, you can't deny that that last monster at the end is pure nightmare fuel.
Number 1, 28 days later. A man named Jim wakes up from a coma and has a horrible surprise awaiting him as London is taken over by zombies. Survivors are few and far between, but Jim finds a small group to team up with, and together they head to an area that is believed to be safe and protected by soldiers. However, these survivors soon learn that they cannot trust everyone who has made it this far, and nowhere in this new world is truly safe.
So this movie stands as the number 1 zombie movie for one simple reason. The zombies in this movie are nightmarish. The speed at which they move, the way they move, the fact that they can just bust into your house and attack you, it makes them all an inescapable force of death in a way that surpasses all the others. The characters and story were lacking in places though, Jim was a serviceable protagonist, but he was a bit bland and unremarkable near the beginning. That is until the end when he turns into British Rambo during the climax. Selena was almost completely unlikable for how rude and sometimes cruel she was at the beginning, though she does warm up to Jim and, by extension, the viewers. The family Jim and Selena team up with are nice people, but much like Jim, they aren't too memorable. The movie also gives us surprise human antagonists, seemingly suddenly without much build-up. So, with all these criticisms, why is this movie at number 1? It's because the zombies, the action, and the character moments that do work are all just that good.
No film is perfect, and 28 Days Later is no exception. However, this movie checks all the boxes we needed it to check and fleshes out many aspects where some of the other films lack.
Alright, that does it. I've had it with these zombies. I'm going out there and giving them what for.
Good luck with that.
Alright, you listen here, you rigor mortis rapscallions. Sister and I are trying to do a routine, so we would appreciate a drastic lowering of the volume. Get your hands up and don't fight the dude. I just had it right now. Sister, help! Sister!
Oh, no, I'm coming.
Help! Thanks a lot for the help.
Oh, you're welcome.
You know what? In that scuffle, I think one of them managed to bite me. Sister. Oh, I don't think I have much time left. Come here. Before I go, I want you to know something. I love bacon wrapped jalapenos.
Ghosts can't get infected with viruses, right?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot.
How do you forget you have a virus? You either have it or you don't.
I'm a complicated person, okay?
That still doesn't make any...
So, anyway, those were our picks for the top 10 zombie horror movies. Do you agree or disagree with our picks? Please let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Until then, I am Scary Sis.
And I am Scary Bro.
And we are...
The Scary Sibs.
Wait, here's something. It says in the book that to make the zombies go away, they just have to encounter something so annoying and insufferable that they can't stand being risen anymore and retreat back to their graves.
Well, go out there then. You're by far the most insufferable person I know.
Okay, you're one to talk.
Go out there then and prove me wrong, unless you're scared.
Fine, I will. Hey, you zombies! How are you on this fine evening? Wait! Wait for that! I was just saying!
Zombies run away as soon as you opened your mouth.
Yes.
Knew it.